I'm going to start recording, actually. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jeannie Jarno, and I'm the founder of Beauty Heroes. And I am here with INNOCOS and Irina Kremlin, and we're hosting, every week we're hosting a different conversation about blue beauty, sort of going one step beyond sustainable. And there's really no, in terms of the intention of this webinar, it's really to have conversations that inspire and inform and push this movement forward. And I'm super excited about this conversation today because Ed and Andy really remind me why I started Beauty Heroes. And so I really want to thank you guys for that. You really are your story really speaks to the essence of why I started my company, which is to connect people to brands who are really doing something well, something special, and something thoughtfully. And I am excited I'm excited for everyone to hear from you today on how you created your brand and your product. And I'm thrilled, I'm not surprised, and am thrilled for your success. So you come to us, Ed, you're in Germany right now, and Andy, you're in London, right?
Correct.
And you two were performers in the West End in London.
That's right.
And you decided to create deodorant. So we're going to, tell us, your company's ACT London, and which is a perfect name, actually, for your product. And I know that wasn't the first name, but it is really a perfect name. And so why don't you just start with telling us what is ACT London and what your roles are in your new venture, your new company.
You take it away, Ed.
Oh, look at this. So yes, it's called ACT London. It's a deodorant company, natural, plastic-free, vegan, design-led and story-focused, effective deodorant. Me and Andy are the co-founders, which sounds weird still. Like, we were actors, so it's so odd to call ourselves businessmen. We call ourselves
I totally know what that's like. When I started my company, it was such a strange word to have on me.
Yeah, switch.
Yeah, so I can really relate to that.
Yeah, so I mean, we're only officially 3.5 months old since launching, but it's been a 3-year project for the two of us. I'm still an actor, but obviously with coronavirus, all theatres shut down. So that happened on the day 2 of rehearsals in a show I was in. And Ed and I were due to launch ACT in May anyway. So we basically sat down and said, right, let's make this full time because there's nothing else for me to do right now. So let's go 10 to 6 every day and work on it fully. And then we managed to get to launch, and it's been more than we could have ever hoped. And it's still blowing our minds every day. We are officially businessmen.
Yeah, you are. And tell us what your roles are in ACT, so that we can just get some context.
Yeah, so it took us a while to figure out where our strengths were lying because we were learning every single aspect ourselves. It was purely the two of us that had outsourced a factory and a cosmetic formulator to help us get it actually manufactured. But in terms of marketing, finance, every department of the business, we had no idea where our strengths lay. So that's only kind of fallen into place in the last few weeks as we've got a couple of new team members. It seems that I've kind of fallen in the marketing department. Ed's fallen in the finance, retail, procurement area, which is not what either of us expected at all.
No.
So
it was completely the reverse, wasn't it? Like, you were accounting and all that sort of stuff, and I very much focused on doing the design and how we should put it out there. And it seems that we've just gone completely the other way. So yeah, I'm in charge of money now, which seems mad to me, but
But we both still cross over on all departments, so we know all aspects of our business, because it's very much our baby. We want all of our consumers and customers to know that you are speaking to us. We're dealing with any issues. We are very much leading this company, and it's something we love and want everyone else to love. So hopefully that comes across as you speak to us.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I think it's fun for me. You know, I think a little bit of my sort of my my gift, I guess, is, you know, when you meet somebody or you meet a brand and you're like, wow, I can just see it for them, you know, and I really felt that with you guys. So it's really an honor for me to be able to talk to you this early on in your journey. I think it's going to be really, you know, a fun conversation to look back on, maybe just for me. But I like this stuff. That's why I started Beauty Heroes. You know, I was never really called to make something. I was really called to tell stories and create connections in a way that I didn't feel that it was being done. Ed, you started to make deodorant 4 years ago in your kitchen?
Yeah, about then.
Yeah.
So I was living in Camden at the time, not in Berlin. And yeah, it was being in a West End show, and you know, with that lifestyle, you have a very active day to day. So during the day, you're doing rehearsals, or you're training in the gym, or you're doing class, and then in the evening you're working. And I was predominantly a dancer, so my stuff in the West End, you know, I was doing big dance shows, and to put it quite frankly, I didn't smell very well. Like I stank. It was just it was born out of a frustration of not being able to fix it. And I honestly tried like every deodorant out there. I tried natural deodorants and they just didn't do anything. Like you'd smell within an hour of putting it on. And then using the sort of clinical strength stuff, which would then burn my armpits and ruin my clothes. Sorry, that's a notification. It would ruin my clothes. You get those horrible, like white, claggy, like pit stains in all of your t-shirts from the aluminium in antiperspirants. And so I was just getting so fed up that quite naively, I suppose, I was like, well, I'm just going to try and figure it out myself. So I spent about 3 years just formulating on the hob in my tiny little kitchen in London, testing out different ingredients, different proportions. Sometimes it went really well. Sometimes it really didn't go well. You know, I'd have a rash and pustules. But finally, you know, it worked, and like I didn't smell anymore, and I could keep my t-shirts for years. And it was I never really set out to build a business from it. It was literally just to make a deodorant that worked for me. And then me and Andy started handing it out to our colleagues in shows, and the feedback was just, it was all really positive, and everybody was like, what is this magical thing that you've created? Like, how have you created it? And even now I'm still like, I don't even know how I created it. It was just trial and error.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and what's amazing to me, you know, kind of, I feel like so Beauty Heroes, I don't even know if you guys know, but Beauty Heroes holds a really, really, really stringent ingredient standard. Like we go all the way. We look for ingredients that, you know, have shown to be harmful on the body and in the environment. And, you know, I call it healthy beauty, healthy personal care, you know, particularly on your armpits. You don't really want to put something that's toxic. Your body's absorbing that, and you're kind of detoxing, absorbing, you know, a lot through that area. And what I think is so amazing, as we were talking, as we were having our original conversation, was that you didn't really set out to create a clean, healthy, like, product. You just wanted to make something that performed.
Yeah, exactly that. I like that you use the word perform, because that's our yeah, exactly that. I think it was going the route that we went. I didn't know about cosmetic formulators at the beginning, so it was just what I could get my hands on and the research that I did. So, you know, finding aluminium chlorohydrate isn't that easy to kind of get your hands on as a day-to-day person. So I'm thrilled that it is all natural and it's gorgeous and, you know, really works. But yeah, the main driver for creating the deodorant was I needed a good deodorant.
I think it's important to say that Ed started just to create a deodorant that worked, like you said. That there was no plan of creating a cosmetic business. There was no plan of it going to the stage it's at now. It was going to be, you know, as actors, you're out of work, so you need something for income. So we thought, oh, you know, let's turn this into a little business. The people of the West End will buy a pot here and there, and that gives us a bit of cash flow between jobs. We'll sell it on Etsy, make a little shop, and that was kind of the plan. Then it just blew up, and we had to start.
Yeah, I want to get into that in a moment. So I'll just give everybody the little teaser. Like, you wanted to sell this on Etsy, but now you're selling it in Selfridges. So
yes.
So we're going to get there, but I want to talk about the next sort of process in the development of it. You kind of just said, like, we'll make a pot. You know, we'll sell a little pot, but it's actually not in a pot. It's in a tube. So can you tell us how that's your packaging story? How did your deodorant get in a tube when deodorant's not typically in a tube? I mean,
right. Yeah. Well, it originally started off in a sliding lid tin. We thought that's never been seen before, and we were trying our best in every factory possible to seal it so it had a shelf life and it was obviously fresh when you received it. But there was no way of sealing it without using a film of plastic or something on it that took it away from being 100% plastic free, it's just always been something we wanted it to be from day one. I don't really know why. That's just a big thing that we like. And then we had to go through a rebranding process, and we decided to completely change and find an entire new vessel for the product. And we'd looked at tubes, but there are none in the world that exist without a plastic cap. So we were like, if we can get this cap created, there we go. It's sealed, it's travelable, if that's a word, and it dispenses nice and easily. And you just chuck it in the recycling bin and it's sorted. It's just aluminium. 80% of all aluminium in the world is still in circulation. It's recycled over and over again, doesn't lose quality. So we just thought, we've got it. That's the one. Let's run with that. And we designed what we now have.
Yeah, so the trick, so were you concerned at all? I mean, even like, it sounds like, did you want to deliver deodorant in a different way? Was that kind of the goal, or did you have this formula that couldn't go into a stick, and you were trying to figure out how to, you know, put it out in the world?
We didn't want to make something that was different, but it just was. There are already deodorant barns out there, but you kind of see them on the bottom shelf of health stores. They're not really kind of known or cared about. So for us, we needed to get people to try it for them to see, oh, it works, because it is a weird aspect to wipe almost a moisturizer on your armpit. But then when you actually think about it, it's not weird. It's just because you associate it with sprays. But that's why we thought, if people don't want to use their fingers, we're going to have to create something different, which is where the applicator comes from, inspired by Gua Sha with all of its extra health benefits. But our challenge is to get people to see deodorant in a different way. And as soon as they use it, realize it works, you kind of go, well, why have I never tried this before?
Yeah. I want to go a little bit more into the cap, because I think that's, you know, today, I want to go, and then I want to come back to the applicator, because Andy, you brought it up. So let's save that for a minute. And let's just talk about this cap and how hard it is to innovate a cap, particularly for a tiny company that doesn't have the MOQs needed to design something custom. You know, yeah. Why don't you tell us about this cap story?
Yeah, it was not an easy feat by any means. Like, we did so much research and we approached so many different factories and so many of the factories that already create the aluminium tubes to be like, why haven't you progressed on this? It felt like everywhere was just like, what, an aluminium cap? You can't possibly do that. And yet we had the original photographs of what the paint tubes used to be, and they used to have an aluminium cap when they were first created in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And so we were like, well, if we could do it then, why can we not do it now? Like, we can put a man on the moon. Why can't we make a metal cap? So it took about 6 months of just constantly like knocking on doors on factories across the world until one factory just took a punt on us and we're like, these are really small. We don't know if they're going to work, but we'll try and make them for you. And thankfully, it paid off. And now we've got the product that we've got now. I'm not going to say that they're perfect. They're very small. They can be a little bit fiddly. But at the moment, we're in the process of redesigning those caps, making them bigger, especially for older people who struggle with smaller items, just to make it easier to come off and to create a better seal as well.
Anyone can see them there.
Yeah.
A lot of people get confused and think that that's just the tube end. So we've had some funny emails from people.
It's a simple thing, right? To make.
Tiny.
So you guys, I want to talk about this. You were committed to this. You were committed to not using the plastic cap, and
it would be a journey had we done that.
Yes.
It would have been so much easier had we not set out on this path, but I'm glad we did.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I don't know if we'd be having this conversation though, because I am so inspired by your sort of tenacity to get through it, especially as a company that, like I said, doesn't have any quantity to speak of. You crowdfunded your company. You had no investment money to go and innovate in this, but you were really passionate about it. And Andy, when we were talking, you were just really talking about your entire supply chain and how you're really working to, or have worked to, eliminate plastic from the entire supply chain. And I think that is, I know how hard that is. And I know that I just am inspired to hear, a company to say, yeah, that's just the way we roll,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a person that gets angry when I see litter on the street. I'm that guy that will tut at someone if they drop something, and then they'll see and then pick it up. Hopefully, I'm that guy. So that had to be in my business. I was adamant about it from the beginning. And as soon as we started telling people, we've created a plastic-free deodorant, they'd go, "Oh, amazing! That sounds great." So we knew immediately it was a USP. Essentially, there wasn't many around then at all when we first started this project. Now a lot more have come into the market, especially in the UK. Not lots. I mean, there's like 3. But at the time, we were pretty sure we were kind of the only plastic-free deodorant. And from getting tubes shipped over or anything like that, I think when we got samples sent, they were wrapped in polythene bags individually, and I was like, why have you done that? There's no need. Just separate it with cardboard or tissue or something biodegradable, and they do. All you have to do is ask, and they do it. And it's if many companies, like all those hand creams that you see, saw something like this and changed it and started buying it, there'd be a demand for it. So it would be easier for everybody. Our first batch of these caps, we had to buy 250,000. That was the smallest amount we could buy. So obviously now we're having to melt them down and get them created into the newer version we're making. But we had to do that if we were to stick with
that on our last call, on our original call, that it was 250,000.
Yeah, horrendous. Mind blown. I think our first batch was 10,000, so we were like, ah.
Yeah. And you just bought. You're like, okay, we're buying 250,000 cap.
They keep them there, and we kind of ship them over as we want them. So when they know they'll be remade into something else, they'll adapt them for us, which has been amazing. It's been an amazing process to meet people that are able to meet your standards essentially and what you actually want. But it's not been easy.
And so
we're the little guy, aren't we? And we're making those demands already. and factories are saying yes to us. So it kind of baffles me that the bigger players aren't making the same demands, because that would just even it out across the whole industry. It would make it the norm.
Yeah.
Yes, all changes start from the grassroots, don't they? So that's ours.
And I think you sort of answered my question in that you sort of talked about this product as a plastic-free deodorant, and I want to just, your customers that are loving your product. I mean, I always tell people, you can have like the most eco-friendly product with like the best packaging, most, the coolest design, but if the product doesn't work, it's not gonna sell. There's not gonna be a repeat for it. But your customers, is it just a combination? Do they just want a product that performs, or people are like really drawn to the fact that it's plastic free and 100% recyclable and, zero waste essentially? Like, what do you feel like your customers are really gravitating towards the most?
It's a mix, isn't it, really? Because essentially everyone just wants a deodorant that works. No one's trying to wave a flag of activism and be like, I will buy this deodorant because I will change the world. That's not how we're advertising it. We're advertising it as, this is a deodorant that works. It just happens to be natural, plastic free and all of that. So you can feel good about it when you buy it. You're doing your bit for the planet as well as yourself. So it's a mix of people, isn't it? Obviously it's been tried and tested on dancers, so it works. And then a lot of people within our community do have that same ethos of wanting to get bamboo toothbrushes and their keep cups and metal straws. So they're not exactly vegan activists, like I say, but they do care. So we like to call them the earth conscious metropolitans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Our audience.
I think there's so much like guilt at the moment, isn't there, with
eco guilt?
Yeah, eco guilt, and so for us, it's just about trying to eliminate a tiny portion of that guilt. If we can, help you by making it so easy, you use the deodorant, you put it in the recycling bin, and it's sorted.
Yeah,
I think that's what people are drawn to. We're really not trying to push the sort of eco side of it, because at the end of the day, we just want something that's really good. It was interesting in the research, like market research that I did. It was something like 73% of people weren't happy with their current deodorant, and so we're always shopping around different brands. And I was like, that just amazes me that so many people are so willing to try something new because they don't feel comfortable with the deodorant that they've got. So enter us, ACT from Stage Left.
Yeah, I would say, we talk a lot about deodorant here in our office. We're always because we're always testing new deodorants, and it's something we all use, and there's a lot of variety, and there's some innovation. And I would say my team is always kind of complaining about their deodorant a little bit, or, sort of saying like, it's great in this way, but it's not. It's got this one problem, to it. So it's a very personal product to get to find your match.
And you only get a shot as well. If it doesn't work that first time, then the consumer's on to the next one. You don't really get to bring them back in. So you've got to launch with something that truly works. And that's why it took 3 years to create, because we wanted to be really sure that it works.
Yeah.
So in your wildest dreams, did you ever think that Selfridges would be saying, hey, we'd like to carry your product?
It was just that. It was a dream. It was an absolute dream. When we went, we used to walk around shops in London, looking at packaging shops and lifestyle shops, and go, oh, we love that aspect. Oh yeah, we'd love that kind of product, or that looks beautiful. We want to make sure people Instagram our product. We want to make it look nice. We'd be in Selfridges, we'd be in Liberties, all those big department stores going, oh, could you imagine having a concession there? Could you imagine being sold here? And then to have that within 3 months of launching, I think it was 2 months actually, 2 months of launching, the agreement of Selfridges selling us in their plastic-free conscious section of their Project Earth, it was just a perfect fit, perfect timing. And then I think the day after we launched in there, yes, because I went in to see it with my face mask on, and the next day we got the announcement from Harper's Bazaar that we won the award for best deodorant, and it just floored me. Like two guys that just wanted to make something for themselves that worked, and to make our dressing rooms not filled with aerosol, is now on the shelf that people are buying, and we've got a big base of people and a community that constantly buy it and tell everyone. It's honestly, particularly this last month as well, there's something new every day. It's just so exciting. And to have a completely different career path that neither of us planned on, that we're enjoying, is an absolute joy, particularly in the, I was about to swear then, don't know who's watching, in the 2020 that is. we don't
I think we
feel grateful.
all agree it's been a shit show. Yeah.
There you go. Didn't want to say it. You said it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so happy for you. And this is really like a fun chat to have. You answered my question. My question was really going to be, do you think that Selfridges was drawn to your product because of the beautiful design, the eco-friendly packaging, or the innovative, there's an aspect to your brand that we haven't spoken about. Everybody who's watching this talk either now or in the future should obviously go to ACT's website and take a look at the beautiful tubes and the design and the Gua Sha Tool, which I want to get into in a moment, the Gua Sha application tool. But it is very sort of, it looks like high-end, it is high-end deodorant. I mean, from a quality perspective in terms of ingredients, it's got ingredients, it doesn't have all these fillers and, things that just are cheaper. It's a good quality formula. It's beautifully designed packaging. It's got this unique golden Gua Sha application tool, which is looks very luxury. And then it happens to also be eco-friendly. So, I mean, I think I would answer it that Selfridges, as a buyer myself for a product, I would say that, it's the full package. But it seems like they were initially drawn to your product because it was plastic free and it was cool. Yeah?
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, it's been good timing, hasn't it?
Yeah, the design process, like when we had a completely different brand at the beginning when we did our crowdfunding. And then because there was a trademark issue with the name at the time, we decided, well, instead of fighting the trademark, let's spend the money on creating a new brand because we needed a new name. And I'm really thrilled that happened because we've now got a really good name. And we thought, okay, natural deodorant, we're not into the sort of hippie-ish look that you'd find in health stores and stuff like that. Market was already done. We knew that we wanted our products to be in the high-end stores, in the high-end gyms. We want it to be on the center table in menswear stores. And so that was kind of what drove us to create. You what, sorry?
And women's wear.
Of course. Boutique stores is what you should say. Boutique stores.
Yeah. And so when we went to the designers, we chose some like really amazing designers that I think they're some of the best designers in London. They're called 2x Elliot. And we knew that they were going to do a good job with it. And we were like, we don't want it to be the sort of lifestyle brand. We want it to make a punch because like that's our character. We're from the theatre world, we're showbiz and whatever. We want it to feel completely different to anything else that's out there. So we have these really bright popping colors, but instead of it being like natural and sort of earthy tones, we have bright orange. From orange, we have After Thunder, the gray, which is inspired by the clouds. We have the lavender color there, which is, the bright color of lavender. And we're like, why not go for those? And then the typography is inspired by old theater billboards when you'd see it on Broadway. And the lettering is spaced out. You can kind of see the reference there. We wanted everything to sort of be a homage to our origins. and hence the name ACT as well.
Yeah, without distancing. So we didn't, obviously not everyone cares about the theatre world or is a performer. So we didn't want to exclude people by making it about performing or whatever. Our tagline is born to perform, but everyone in their own right performs in their own life, whether it's doing presentations or a fitness instructor. Everyone is performing in some aspect. So it just seemed right. And they absolutely nailed it on the head. The design team, we're beyond thrilled. And the redesign, although it was a ball ache at the time, came along at the perfect time.
Yeah. You know, we changed, I changed the name of my company a year in. It wasn't Beauty Heroes when I started it. And for years before I started the company, I had a totally different name in my head. So it's really always a cool story. Can you share what the original name was for you?
It was PIT. Yeah. PITT.
Oh, so much. I like ACT so much better.
Yeah, so do we. So do we. So do we. It was all dark and gold and black and sexy and literally
a blessing for sure.
Yeah.
We were so led, we had a mentor at the time, and we were so led by her because we were so naive to the industry. And so it was all black and gold and like luxe, and it just didn't feel like us at all. So,
but it did get us our crowdfunding complete, didn't it? We put that brand out there as it was. We haven't mentioned that we gave samples to every single West End cast member, fully utilised our community of actors and performers to try it, to post about it on the day we launched our campaign, and then we hit our target on day one, and I think we did 276% of our target by the end of the month, and that blew our mind. But it was nothing like this current brand that's in front of me. It was a very different brand, still the same ethos, same product, just different packaging and branding.
New fragrance too, which we call scenes. Scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I think it's really beautiful. I think that, you know, your company, to me, you know, I sort of called this session Striking Blue Beauty Gold by Being Authentic. I think, you know, I talk to so many people and they say, you know, I just want to make something, but they don't know what, and they just want to create something. I guess I get that. But I feel like, you know, who should make a product? And I feel like this sort of way of approaching, like there's so much in the world already. Like if you're not really like called to make something like you were, it's just, I feel like people shouldn't be making things any other way than this way, where you feel like, you know, you want to bring something truly to the world that's going to bring value to our lives. And I feel like that's what you're doing through ACT. Let's almost wrap it up with talking a little bit about the Gua Sha Tool and the application. There is this beautiful golden Gua Sha Tool that you kind of designed specifically for deodorant applications. So tell us about that.
Yeah,
mine's dirty. Sorry.
It's freshly used.
I need to wash it
in our bathrooms.
It's weighty. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's made of 100% brass. And the story of how that came about, again, we were so worried with our deodorant formulation because you do apply it with your fingers like a moisturizer, and we were like, some people aren't going to go for this, so maybe we need to create something that they can apply it with. So we started doing research, and then we started talking to doctors and Gua Sha therapists, and it all kind of led back to the lymphatic system. And if you think about it, like your underarms have this huge concentration of lymph nodes there. It's really integral to your immune system, and yet all of us neglect it so much. We just do a quick spray in the morning, and we don't really know what we're putting on there at all. And so for us, we were like, well, how can we further this feeling of self-care? And so that led us to Gua Sha, which isn't a new thing. It's ancient Chinese medicine practice, and you've seen these tools that are for the face and stuff. And we thought, well, let's apply it to the underarms because it has these incredible benefits there as well. So not only are you applying it on your underarms, you actually, if you do the specific massage, and we give you like a little instruction manual in the packaging. If you stroke down your arms and across the heart, you're draining the lymph towards your lymph nodes, and it really scientifically proven to help with your immune function. And so that's how it came about, and we're really thrilled with it, and it looks beautiful.
Gorgeous. But also, it's a tool that you can use for so many other products as well. It's for your entire body. This shape itself is a traditional Gua Sha shape. We haven't changed that. We just branded it. But people use it on their face for collagen regeneration, for neck tension, for massaging your feet, getting right in there. You can apply moisturizers everywhere with it. So it's really just this one-time buy tool. Again, it's not waste. You only buy one and you keep it forever, and you just keep replenishing your deodorant. You don't have to use this. Obviously, you can use your fingers, but it's honest. I've just done that 3 times, and already my neck feels relaxed there. Just to do that in the morning. If you've got the time, do it. If you don't have the time, use your fingers. It's just a nice to have 2 options.
It's been a godsend for like physical people like us, dancers and fitness people, like using it after a workout to kind of drain your legs and your arms. It really helps with the muscle recovery.
Honestly.
And it's not great. I mean, it's, I love the tradition of Gua Sha, which is usually with, I think, Bion stone. But I love this tool because you can really like kind of throw it in your gym bag or throw it in your, and not like be so worried that it's going to break. So it's kind of a cool.
And brass is antimicrobial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all the extra bits. We think we thought it through well enough.
I love it. I mean, I think the tool, like the deodorant was enough, but adding the tool, I think is also just sort of, really coming, approaching your product from a different point. No, I've never heard of anybody applying deodorant with a tool, any tool, a Gua Sha tool, and then sort of incorporating it and teaching it and making it a moment of self-care if you have the time to do it. I think that's really just another, sort of piece in your story. Is Selfridges carrying the tool too? Did they bring in the tool?
Yeah. It's exactly what we call it. We call it your daily act of self-care. Yeah. So you just nailed it on the head by saying that. Yeah. But yeah, Selfridges are stocking all 3 fragrances and the applicator.
Yeah. So now that you're only 3 months into your launch, which, is another sort of like incredible, it's hard to like believe that you have so much to share in such a short time during COVID, nonetheless. It's so nice to hear an uplifting story during this time. It's something positive, like having something positive come of it for people. Are you even thinking about making something else, or are you
doing it?
You are already doing it?
Yeah, I've got new samples here of 2 new fragrances that we're going to be releasing next year. A much more floral scent and a real sort of grassy, earthy scent too. We've started production. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but we're starting production on new soap bars as well, to kind of keep them with the hygiene feel. Like initially we had this whole long list. We're like, we're going to do face care and all this sort of stuff, and then we were like, no, let's just do one thing and do it really well. So we're going to keep it in the personal hygiene space. Obviously, we've got big dreams of selling across Europe and the United States and Canada. And a personal thing, I'd quite like to do activewear, deodorizing activewear. So it's all in the pipeline, and we've started production on the soaps and the fragrances, and there's a few other bits happening too.
Yeah. We pride ourselves in our fragrance, and there's many avenues we could go down, but we've been advised, and we totally agree, that you do one thing good that you're known for, the rest will kind of follow. So you'll see where the gaps are, and we are. I think we're always going to be developing things, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't really spoken about the fragrances, but just quickly, they're really like, we didn't want to do, you know, a few essential oils. We want it to be like a fine fragrance, and loads of our customers email us being like, I rub it on my neck and my pulse points because I wear it as a perfume every day.
Because all deodorants, you either smell like a teenage boy or you smell like talcum powder as a woman, and it's like there's no in between. There's no high end deodorant. There's no deodorant that you can pride yourself in smelling. I've never had that in my entire 31 years, anyway, until now. So
and they're all essential oils, right? They're essential oil blends. There's no when you say fragrance, it's not synthetic fragrance or even natural fragrance. It's essential oils, like unique blends that you are crafting.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're for all genders. I must say that, for everybody, not targeted at any particular gender.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I think you're a company to watch. I'm definitely watching and looking forward to talking to you about coming to the US when you're ready. I know you are so busy with what you have on deck right now that you're looking at expanding into other countries in 2021. So this was, I hope, you know, just really an inspiring story for people to watch, and you know, hopefully people will see and contact you and want to purchase your product, distribute your product, carry it, and I wish you so much future success. I think you're well on your way, and keep doing what you're doing. Keep it real the way you are. It's great.
Thank you so much. It's been so nice to revisit our story as well, though, hasn't it? Because we get so stuck in our computers and doing all the work, you suddenly forget, wow, how far we've come. Hi, Irina.
Hi.
We are both called Ed Currie on here, but I'm Ed Currie.
And I'm Andy Coxon. So there you go.
I know. Guys, I just want to say that I'm super inspired. It's such a great success story, and especially for the young brands like you. You know, now in this difficult period, when we are, when many businesses are suffering, it is nice to see such a success story and to see that it is really connected with us being conscious about the environment and this kind of thing. It's like super inspired, you know, and I want to have this brass, you know, brass. I'm already like ordering now online. It's so cool, you know.
Well, everyone can go to actlondon.com and you'll see all the information about us, the brand, the products. Everything's there. Instagram's on there. We're very active on there, so feel free to follow us and keep in touch with everything.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, guys.
You're so welcome.
Well.
Thank you. Thank you, Irina. Thank you, Irina.
Bye. Bye.